Is Blizzard's Plunderstorm the next big thing, but they haven't realized it yet?
It's crazy to imagine that an MMO was once the world's most popular game. But as the players mature and new generations enter the fold, it's only
Man, that feels like a million years ago, doesn't it?
inevitable for new genres to take the crown. Before MMOs, we had FPS. After MMOs, we had MOBAs. But it wasn't until 2017 that a new genre would enter the
Look at that, Roblox absolutely destroying existence, and then PUBG pops up.
mainstream, changing the gaming climate forever. Games like PUBG, Fortnite, and Warzone exploded onto the scene, amassing tens of millions of downloads.
Okay, Fortnite is something completely different. Fortnite honestly deserves to be in a category of its own, and I have never even played Fortnite. But Fortnite was the first major game that actually made non-gamers recognize gaming. Ninja was the first real gaming celebrity, and I'm talking real gaming celebrity. Your grandma knew who Ninja was just because her grandson can't stop doing some kind of string shuffle thing with his hands and saying, "Look at my Fortnite dance." It was insane.
And dominating Twitch viewership.
I didn't start playing until Drake started playing, so you can totally blame him on this one.
Named after the popular Japanese action film released in 2000, the Battle Royale genre would only increase in popularity over time, and eventually make its way into video games.
Are you trying to kill me right now?
Now it's 2024, and the hype around BRs has more or less settled. The game mode is still massive, but seems to be sharing the crown with MOBAs and FPS. So Blizzard are at least a few years late to the party when it comes to BRs.
As always with everything that they do.
That might not be a bad thing.
Trippy.
The last few years have been transformative for Blizzard. Freed from their former leadership, Blizzard seems to be re-establishing their goals as a developer, and entering 2024 with a new outlook at their place in gaming.
Okay.
For the longest time, WoW's absolute domination gave them an arrogance that caused them to ignore their own player base. But that seems to have changed.
People constantly bring up, oh, World of Warcraft, it's no longer this and... World of Warcraft is still one of the most popular games to ever exist. Still to this point, even though it's kind of hard to say out loud, I know.
Changed. Here's a slide from Blizzard's presentation at the GDC in which they're outlining their past failures, learning from them and adapting.
It really is letting go of old stubbornness. Your job as game director, Ian, is to safeguard this tradition. Do it well.
How many times have they said this? We hear you, we're gonna do what you want, and then they go do something completely you didn't want and beg them to not do in the first place. How many times in a row has Blizzard done this, and everyone's still like, they're gonna do it this time? It's getting kind of funny.
Taking a step back and being like, well, no, what if the tradition's wrong now? What if the tradition was right 20 years ago but needs to change today?
This is the Blizzard we've wanted to see for a really long time. A Blizzard that understands that they can't do everything on their own. And that's where Proletaria comes in.
What?
Proletaria is an indie game developer known for their popular BR Spellbreak. As you may have guessed, Spellbreak was
Didn't Spellbreak fail dramatically after release though?
a battle royale with a fantasy setting. Rather than using guns, Proletariat decided to approach their BR slightly differently, using magic. In 2020,
Yeah, and it was cool and fun and interesting after they completely mucked up and ruined everything.
Blizzard bought Proletariat. This news sort of went under the radar, but only now does this acquisition truly make sense. Plunderstorm looks and feels a lot like Spellbreak, and since playing the game I can honestly say this may be the best pairing of studios in recent memory. The game is good. It's really good.
Guys, this game mode, you don't understand how fun it is.
It's not fun, it's not good, it's bad, and it's stupid. That is absolutely the reality of Plunderstorm. Plunderstorm is just overhyped. Obviously, Plunderstorm came with extremely high success. It is something new in a game that you're already playing, that already has millions of people, and you're just one click away from doing it. And Plunderstorm has all the classical pitfalls of everything that Blizzard nowadays does. Do you know what the average IQ distribution graph is? Well, it looks something like this. Blizzard have always targeted, not in the middle, but slightly below. Everything that Blizzard makes, and Plunderstorm is the greatest example of it, requires you a lukewarm IQ to play, to almost completely master, and to have almost max out skill expression when it comes to this game. The reason that games like PUBG and Fortnite and whatnot succeed is because skill expression just is so much higher, honestly. There is no amount of pay to win that's gonna make someone who's bad at aiming win against someone who is good at aiming, okay? It's gonna happen time to time, but that's also a charm of it, because random things happen time to time. But in Plunderstorm, it doesn't. Skill expression doesn't exist. So it's just a flash in the pan. It can never be anything but, honestly, a flash in the pan. Because there is no longevity in something that has no skill expression. Look at Fortnite. Starting Fortnite is super easy. Everyone can do it. But even 10-year-old kids like playing Fortnite because they want to get better at it. Because the peak of Fortnite skill is kind of high. Kind of very, very high. Plunderstorm offers none of it. Almost no Blizzard products at the end of the day actually offer it. Even PvP that is supposed to be skill expression in Blizzard for a decade or more now has been completely governed by random balances that just make some certain classes and comps way more stronger than other things.
Maximum fun ever, period, ever, period.
Peekaboo's still alive!
Absolute best time of my life.
Holy shit! We popped the hell off! We're gonna go to Zaryu and Peekaboo. 20 eliminations in the lobby. I love it, and I'm not gonna be shy about that. Let's fucking go! Fucking it's hilarious!
And where are all of these people now? Nowhere.
Plunderstorm has the opportunity to change everything.
So good. I streamed 15 hours yesterday, bro. And then I kept playing for another 3 hours, dude.
It's hard to stop, man. It's hard to not press Q.
So what is Plunderstorm? Plunderstorm is a limited time event, a classless third-person battle royale housed on the retail client, benefiting from
You think Plunderstorm would even be remotely as successful if it wasn't already there for you, technically for free?
20 years of WoW's engine optimization,
I don't think so.
The game feels smooth as butter. It works very similarly to other BRs, yet once you drop in, you're not looking for guns, armor sets, grenades. You're looking for spells and abilities, and grinding.
Yeah, which makes it worse. Because of the low skill expression in this game, you can have a complete beginner and someone who is borderline a professional. And the beginner just gets, a higher rank skill of the same caliber as the other guy. Chances are, 999 times out of 1,000, the guy who is a complete noob is just gonna win. Because skill expression just does not add enough in this game. And again, that's the downfall.
Levels. Remind you of anything? That's because this isn't a typical BR. It's a BR with MOBA elements. MOBAs condense the RPG progression and empowerment experience into a much smaller package that will play out over and over again in different matches. Plunderstorm seems to be doing the same thing, but within a BR. And it works. Both of these genres capitalize on that Moorish quality.
Also, the problem with Plunderstorm is it's not exactly a unique experience in that sense, because at any given point, if you are just slightly above average, you're probably going to follow some kind of meta progression. You're going to go for the most powerful skills and skill combos. Even average people honestly do that nowadays. Because everyone wants to win, and thus everyone wants to use the strongest skills, because guess what? The strongest skills, the biggest hitting numbers, feel the best. So, again, there's not really that much variety. You go play 10 games of Plunderstorm, well, chances are 7 out of those 10 games feel almost exactly the same, but, you know, just slightly different. There's not enough uniqueness because everything you see is the same.
And Plunderstorm is certainly no different. In a way, this game hits on so many points that WoW PvP is lacking. WoW suffers from intense playability problems.
I'm still not fucking playing a game! I want to cast spells on things!
Let's say you're new to the game and you want to compete. You either have to roll the dice, spending hours looking for partners, or spend hours in solo queue instead. You play Classic? Queues are an issue here too. And have fun waiting for 10 minutes for cooldown.
Bro, who's gonna want to actually PvP in Classic? It's such a waste of time.
Between every duel.
Hey, when you see the reset, man, fuck you know.
And then when you do finally get to play, both games are incredibly imbalanced anyway.
What? Dude, Zeus just one-shots.
It's so refreshing to play a game that you can just hop on, press Q, and be in a game within a minute. And
that's actually also not true about Blizzard PvP. It is imbalanced, but I mainly mean imbalanced in the way that comps work and whatnot. But the reality about World of Warcraft is, at the higher levels, skill expression is pretty much the most utmost important thing. Because if you look at the history of World of Warcraft, who are the champions of tournaments? It's the same people over and over and over and over again. And one of the easiest ways to tell if a game actually has a good enough skill ceiling is just checking who are winning the tournaments. Is a random person winning a tournament every single time, or is it the same names always competing for the big spots and the big wins? And well, if it's the same people competing for the victories, then that means that the game has way more skill expression.
Anyway.
What? Dude, Zeus just one-shots.
It's so refreshing to play a game that you can just hop on, press Q, and be in a game within a minute. And then when you are playing, the game is actually really balanced. And it's easy to balance because it's not tied to the main game, which means there's no pushing and pulling between PvE and PvP. There are some strong abilities for sure.
I mean, then technically Hearthstone should be balanced, but we all know how that goes.
But everything is counterable. And even though the game is a lot simpler than PvP and WoW, there's complexity and nuance within that simplicity. And it's not just me losing their minds over this game mode. It seems like everyone absolutely loves Plunderstorm. Everyone that should be playing it anyway. You see, whilst this game itself is amazing, Plunderstorm's success is being obstructed by the same company that made it. Plunderstorm right now is heavily marketed towards WoW players. Sure, it's the same IP, but MMO players aren't necessarily fans of BRs or MOBAs. And because so many of the rewards are for WoW Classic and retail, collectors are forced to play a game that isn't made for them. If you went onto the WoW subreddit around its release, you'd see a stupid amount of posts talking about how bad Plunderstorm is, and how they can't wait to never have to play it again once they have the rewards. Most videos...
Yeah, again, I don't think Plunderstorm is even remotely successful if it would be a separate thing. I think it would be dead in, a week. Plunderstorm lasted like for a month or something. That was kind of wild.
Online are about how to get plunder without having to PvP at all. And the rest of the videos have very little views, because the people who should be playing this game literally aren't aware of its existence. That's because Blizzard have made the mistake of
Who should be playing this game though? No one from Fortnite is gonna go in Plunderstorm and say, "Ah, yes, this is so much better." No one's from Dota or League of Legends gonna go into Plunderstorm and say, "Ah, yes, this is so much." No one does that, because it's not.
Merrily marketing this game.
I think Blizzard did the best they could. They just tried to milk something fast, and now they're looking into... They probably are trying to make, as we speak, a standalone Plunderstorm type of thing. Because there is obviously, success to be had here. But the way that Plunderstorm is, again, catering to the lukewarm IQ average player with almost zero emphasis on actual skill expressions and whatnot, it's not that great. But if they make it into a real standalone game at some point, maybe there is hope. Who knows?
To an audience that it isn't made for. The people who enjoy WoW PvP, for the most part, absolutely adore this game. And players who enjoy BRs and MOBAs would enjoy this game too. But right now, it's not being marketed to them. So how does Blizzard reach them? Let's look at 4 of the most popular games out right now. League of Legends, Fortnite, Counter-Strike, Warzone. What do all of these games have in common?
High levels of skill expression. That's what they have in common.
They're free. All of these games play under the free-to-play model with a cash shop, with mostly cosmetic items. And why do companies do this? Because they make more money this way. For a game like this, there really does seem to be only one way to go. If you want a huge audience and you want your game to grow and be healthy, it needs to be free to play, and it needs its own client. If people want to play the game, they shouldn't have...
Wait, did he have Call of Duty in this lineup? Yeah, Call of Duty. Call of Duty is not free. No, Call of Duty is not free. You have to buy that sucker.
And it needs its own client. If people want to play the game, they shouldn't have to download a completely separate game to do so. Have a team dedicated to making skins and cosmetics.
I mean, he has a point, but again, the point that he is woefully missing here is the fact that Plunderstorm was never intended to be a standalone, self-alone thing. It was just something that was meant to funnel people into World of Warcraft. Plunderstorm's not gonna make it. If something like Plunderstorm could make it on its own, you know what would happen? Well, Legends of Hearthstone, the Blizzard MOBA, that garbage, which was a fun game, but again, not fun enough, not meaningful enough. You know, just a fun game is not gonna cut it. If Plunderstorm can actually stand on its own, which it can't, then Blizzard's MOBA would have succeeded, 100%. No questions asked, 100% succeeded, but it didn't.
For the game and open it up to the public. Remove the barriers to entry and show everyone what an amazing game this really is. So right now, Plunderstorm's future is fairly uncertain. It's clear that Blizzard are having a testing period, with experiments like Season of Discovery, Plunderstorm, and WoW Remix. But it's my fear with how badly they've
WoW Remix? What the hell is that?
Promoted and marketed their game that its potential won't be recognized, and it won't get the support that it needs. Because this game is so good, I really can see it being one of the biggest BRs on the market.
I cannot at all. I cannot at all. It's a flash in the pan, that's all it is. Most likely Blizzard themselves never intended this to actually to be like a very long thing that's gonna, you know, get people in and whatnot. This is why no one would... How many people are playing Plunderstorm now? Not enough. Not enough at all. That's the end thing that I have to say honestly about this. Anyway, that was a pretty good video. Admittedly, I completely disagree with it, but it was a pretty decent video. And hey, I could be wrong. Plunderstorm could release by itself and suddenly be the #1 game in the world. That's not happening, obviously. But, you know, one can dream. One can dream. Anyway, that was Taku. 10 out of 10. Bye.